Hello, I'm Keith Barker, and on behalf of the entire CBT Nuggets family, I'd like to welcome you to this Nugget series on Wireshark. Let's begin. Wireshark is the planet's most popular and free protocol analyzer. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, you're probably familiar with Wireshark, but if you're not, let me give you a brief reason why this is so powerful and what Wireshark can do for us. Let's say we have a scenario with a PC that's acting as a client, and we're talking over to a server. Maybe it's a SQL server, some type of a database server. And maybe we are directly connected, or maybe there's some routers in between us. That part really doesn't matter too much, but the scenario goes something like this. The client makes a request to the SQL server, and the response comes back, and it takes 60 seconds for that response to be graphically shown on the screen. That's a long time. I mean, 60 seconds is lifetimes in the world of computers and networks. So here's my question. Where is the delay happening? Is it the client somehow delaying the actual request, or is it the server or the backend that's somehow delaying the response, or is it the PC who gets the response immediately but has to crunch all the data to put it on the screen? That's a fantastic question. The solution to finding out where the delay is to use Wireshark. We could capture the data on this network segment right here and then take a look. If the request goes out and 5 milliseconds later the response comes back completely, we could then say it's the PC that's causing the slowdown as it crunches all the data. On the other hand, if the request goes out and 45 full seconds later the response comes back, we could then attribute the delay to something that's happening at the SQL server, or very unlikely, the network. Usually networks are not going to slow packets for 45 seconds. And we could also sample at different areas in our network just to verify that. But that's just one out of millions of possible applications for using Wireshark to assist us in understanding what's really going on the network. Another question that comes up is, Keith, what's exactly in the Wireshark series? I'd like to share with you an overview of what's inside and an inside tip on how in the future you don't have to wait for a series to be completed to go ahead and start enjoying and watching the videos. So I'm currently logged on to my CBT Nuggets account, and if I wanted to see what current videos are in progress and be able to view them before they're even done, here's how we could do that. Under Video Training, right here there's a tab called Upcoming Videos. We simply click that, and all of the videos that are currently in progress are right here. Not only does it give us status on them, it also gives us the ability to view the videos that are already done in that series. So here we can see that James has a Windows 8 series in progress. He's got 31 out of 40. And if we wanted to start viewing those, you don't have to wait until the complete series is done. You can simply click on this link and go look at any of the videos that are currently published, which is right now a total of 31. Wireshark, which I'm doing the intro for right now, is completely done. So as soon as the videos get approved and processed, which will be the next business day. So by the time you see this, all 25 videos will be online and ready. But this is a great way where you do not have to wait to see the videos in progress. You can go ahead and start watching the series as they're being created. So we want to take a look at the topics inside Wireshark, which is my objective here. We can click on this link for Wireshark and scroll down. And here's what I did when I created this Wireshark series. I simply thought to myself, what would I want to learn? If somebody was teaching me for the very first time formally the details of Wireshark, what would I want to see, learn, and know how to do? And that is the series I put in place for you. So the end result is that you and I get to go through together all of these topics as you improve your skills with Wireshark, and that can directly translate into applying those newly learned skills in a production environment where it's making a difference. So there's 25 videos in all in this Wireshark series, which includes this introduction, which you're listening to right now. This series is specifically designed to assist you regarding your role in your current network. For example, you might be designing networks or verifying networks or troubleshooting networks. The skills regarding Wireshark and protocol analysis will serve you very well in each of those areas. Additionally, if you're learning new technologies, Wireshark is a terrific tool to reinforce and validate what you're learning. For example, everybody knows about DHCP, right? So DHCP has 4 packets involved. We have the discover, the offer, the request, and the acknowledgement, like Dora the Explorer, which is a sad but funny way to remember the 4 steps in that. Now my question is, at layer 2, are all these broadcasts, or some of them broadcasts? How does that work? And we might go out and search and say, oh yeah, all 4 packets are broadcasts. Or we might find out that, hey, 2 of these are broadcasts and 2 of them are unicast. So my question is, regarding each of these 4 packets at layer 2, Are they broadcast on Ethernet, or are they not all broadcast? And depending on where you read and who you read, you could have different answers for that. Well, you don't have to take anybody's word for it. We can lab it up and take a look with Wireshark. So that's the question. Are all 4 packets layer 2 broadcast? And I'd like you to think about that for a moment. Based on your knowledge and your understanding, are they or are they not? Now, if you're saying, Keith, I think they're all broadcast, you might be absolutely right if you're taking a look at specific types of DHCP servers and specific types of DHCP clients. However, that is not always the case. And the way we can verify that and see that detail is using Wireshark. Again, the world's most popular and free protocol analyzer, because the packets do not lie. What it sniffs and what you see on the network is really what's occurring. The next logical step after that is say, okay, why in the world is that occurring? Which leads us to further discovery about the real behavior of the protocols on our networks. Another thing I'd like to address with you right now are the prerequisites for this series, for really getting the most out of the Wireshark series. There's different certifications out there. For example, CompTIA has something called Network Plus. And then we have vendor certifications, like Cisco's got some, like CCENT and so forth, that they have at the entry level. Juniper has some, and HP also has entry level ones as well, and other vendors. And then as those go up, they go into the professional level, and then there's also the expert level at the high end for each of those. So the question is, okay, Keith, do I need any of those certifications to really appreciate Wireshark? And the answer is no. You're welcome to enjoy this series. However, you really deserve to have at least this level of understanding, Network Plus or greater, to take advantage of it. So, for example, you know how ARP operates. You know what DHCP is. You understand three-way handshakes with TCP. You understand the basics of IP addressing and application layer and all that. So the basics, the fundamentals of networking, you've already got in your mind. That would be the prerequisites for taking advantage of this course. Now you might be saying, well, Keith, I'm brand new to networking. I don't know the basics. I don't know ARP. I don't know DHCP. I don't know IP addressing. What do I do? The answer is really simple. Go ahead and go through Network Plus. It's sitting there as part of your subscription with CBT Nuggets. It's available. Start with Network Plus first as a really solid foundation, and using Network Plus as a foundation, whether you take certification testing or not, the knowledge you gain from Network Plus about how networks operate, you can then leverage that as you take additional courses like the Wireshark series, this one, CCNA, Juniper, and other vendor-specific networking technologies. The primary objective for you and I in this series is to identify how to use the tool called Wireshark. So that will be our primary focus in the entire series. It's very likely that you've experienced the CBT Nuggets series before, but if this is your first, let me take just a moment to welcome you and also to tell you how we do our training. We do a ton of whiteboard work. We use network diagrams, and primarily, especially in this series, we do a boatload of live demonstrations. And in those demonstrations, we'll set up a scenario, we'll demonstrate why a specific tool inside Wireshark would be effective, and then we'll demonstrate actually using the tool to get the results that we're looking for. Another really cool benefit that you and I get to enjoy is that these videos are both short and they are very, very direct. Let's say, for example, it's 2 years down the road. You've enjoyed the video series, you got your start in really taking advantage of Wireshark in this series, and 2 years later you're thinking, oh, you know what? How do I colorize a specific conversation inside Wireshark? You could come back to this series, go to that one specific nugget, which is like less than 20 minutes, and review it, and boom, you're back in the saddle with those skills refreshed, ready to move forward. So it's a terrific resource to go back to after you've completed the entire series. What I can also guarantee is that these videos are fun and they're also motivating. Now, why is that? Well, the fact is, the more we learn about something, the more excited we can get about it. So as we start to use these tools in Wireshark, for example, most people have touched Wireshark before. They've looked at it and thought, whoa, this is pretty cool, and that was about it. But once you start learning the bells and whistles and how to tweak those nerd knobs inside of Wireshark to make it sing and dance and give us the details that we're looking for, it becomes more exciting, and check it out, it becomes more of a reality as a production tool that you and I can use in a production network to solve problems, identify issues, and make our networks a better place. So I totally get that time is a limited resource for everybody. So how can you and I squeeze that last drop of juice out of this video series? It's very, very simple. The first thing is to make time and watch the videos. And if you want to watch them a couple times just for reinforcement, that's often a great idea. I would also recommend you take notes. I'm an avid note taker. I've got spiral notebook after spiral notebook, but guess what? I rarely go back to them. I'll admit that. I rarely go back to them. But the reason I make the notes is because it helps me with yet another method, another sensory input of learning that information. So individuals who jot down notes as they watch videos with a real pencil or pen and paper, that's going to assist you in remembering that detail later. So I would encourage you to take notes as you watch the videos. Another really big secret is to lab it up. In virtually every video, I've got a homework assignment for you. I've got the capture files and my profile preferences all tucked away in the Nugget Lab files for each of the videos. And I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I don't want you just to watch the video and say, wow, that was awesome. I can look at the HTTP delay between a request and a reply with web traffic. I don't want you just to see it. I want you to practice it. So in the homework assignments, I'm going to give you specific tasks related to what we just covered, and that will help reinforce and cement that as a skill once you practice it that you can then take and apply to a production network. Another little detail that's going to happen as you lab it up and start practicing with Wireshark, I saw behavior that I wasn't expecting. And I thought to myself, is this natural behavior based on this type of client, or did I just misunderstand the protocol, or is there more for me to learn? And here's what I discovered. There is always more for me to learn. So using the Wireshark and a great Google search, you can have the opportunity to dig deeper. So for example, we could dig deeper and say, okay, for DHCP as an example, how come for some clients and some DHCP servers, all 4 packets are layer 2 broadcast and other times they're not? Or with IPv6, for example, how come sometimes a device will do a neighbor advertisement after it's done its duplicate address detection and other times it won't? And that type of experience in seeing the actual packets and asking those questions is a terrific springboard for us to increase our knowledge about the protocol's real behavior on the network. So for me, the exciting part about you and I spending this time together in this series is that as you build your skills, as you do each of the homework assignments and start practicing with Wireshark, you'll be able to apply those skills to your production network. And that is where I'd like to pause just for a moment and offer a word of caution. So let's say we manage everything inside this red box. That's our network that we manage. The question is, the data that's coursing through the veins of this network, is that ours to freely look at and analyze with a protocol analyzer? That's the question you need to ask every time that you capture data off of a network and start looking at the data, because we can reassemble the file that this guy downloaded from the internet. We can see the graphic images that he downloaded from the internet. We can reassemble the voice over IP traffic and listen to a conversation. So the question is, although we can technically do that, we want to make sure that we have the authorization as well. We never want to do any type of eavesdropping or decoding of packets unless we have explicit authorization to do exactly that. So for this entire series, that is my word of caution to you. Only look at traffic that you are authorized to capture and analyze. The actual capture files and other resources that I've saved for you for your use as you go through these videos are in the Nugget Lab file area. Now, one of the questions that comes up is, Keith, where exactly is that Nugget Lab file area? So let me take a moment and share with you exactly where to go to get those files. And here's the secret for Nugget Labs. Once you're logged in, you simply go to your name, hover over your name, there'll be a drop-down list. Simply go down to Nugget Lab, click on that, and that will take you to the Nugget Lab files. Each of these are links. So you go to the link for Wireshark, click on it, and that would give you an opportunity to download the Nugget Lab files for the entire Wireshark video series. Once you have them locally on your computer, you can then, for each of the videos which have supporting files, access those files from your local hard drive. I am very excited about spending this time with you in this series. Your homework assignment for this video is really simple, and that is to go to the next video titled Jumpstart with Wireshark. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.